What's up, y'all? Back with another video. It's been a minute since I've done a review. So recently, almost a month now. Sheesh, time has flown by. I bought a 2011 C6 ZR1. It's tri-coat red. Man, right now the sun is out. It literally looks perfect. Bought it technically from original owner, from a dealer, with 19,200-ish miles on it. So yeah, if you know about the C6 ZR1, you know it has a magnetic ride suspension. You know it's got about, I think, 638 horsepower, a little bit over 600 torque, 6-speed manual, of course. The 2011s, they added a couple extra things, like for example, a little bit better navigation system, a little bit, it's always nice being in SoCal and then you see a hurricane like that. Downshifting sounds amazing. The previous owner had this funny Superman shift boot on it, so I recently just did the nice original OEM shift boot. The interior is minty though, as you can tell. It is super mint. The dash, the navigation, the center controls, yeah, it's very mint. But I figured I would do a quick walk around video. You can so hear that hurricane in the back still. But figured I would do a quick walk around video. I'll go for a drive here in a second. I'm gonna throw my camera in there, but yeah, first impressions of the car, it handles, it almost feels like an AMG GT or an AMG GTR. So it's super light and crisp and very nimble when it comes to front steering feel. But you gotta remember, when the ZR1 came out, it was like very track focused. It was something that Corvette really never did before. A lot of other manufacturers were like, oh my gosh, like this is pretty crazy. It was competing of the reigns of other supercars at the time. So for example, like the Murcielago, then the Gallardo, the F430, those were some of the cars that this thing was competing with on track. So yeah, I'm gonna throw my camera in, go for a little drive. Nothing crazy, but figured I would kind of share my thoughts on the car. So far, steering feel, nimbleness, feels like an AMG GT, or maybe even, I've never driven a Viper, but AMG GT has that feel. I've driven an AMG GTR before. So it has that feel where you're sitting more so the feeling of you're sitting almost on the back tire. But this thing weighs around 3,400 pounds, and you can really feel the nimbleness. Huge LS9 supercharged V8. So like lugging this thing around takes no effort at all. But anyways, gonna throw the camera in and we'll go for a drive. What's up, guys? Now we're in the car. Just figured I would do a quick walk around. Gonna go for a quick drive. Yeah, had the car for about a month now, like I mentioned. Yeah, the steering feel and how the car feels overall is crazy. Like, it's hard to believe that this car came out in 2011 for what it feels like and what it can do, and how the gearbox feels. Honestly, how the gearbox feels is ridiculous. I was telling somebody the gearbox nearly feels like a Porsche gearbox, which is such a testament and such a compliment to this car. It's ridiculous. Literally feels like a nice and tight, crisp cut shifts. This is a factory exhaust. Everything is stock on the car. The valves are just constantly always open on the exhaust because there's a controller attached to it. So yeah, I'm gonna get on the freeway here real quick and we'll do a quick little pull. Nothing crazy, don't want to get in trouble. Yeah, it sounds so, it's very enjoyable to drive. I don't know if you can hear the pops and the little burbles and stuff that the car makes, but it's very enjoyable to drive. Put the windows down a little bit as I'm cruising. See if you can hear some of the pops and burbles and stuff. You can't hear the supercharger very much. It's very linear. The car really almost feels as if you're driving a naturally aspirated car. It doesn't feel like it's supercharged. It's a very linear power curve on it, which is nice, actually, super nice. Getting on the freeway here. This thing's no joke. It just gets it. So, you know, overall, C6 ZR1 for the value, right? I picked this car up for around $79,000, even actually. The dealer was nice enough to give me a $1,000 credit back after I got the car because they never told me it had original tires on it, even though I asked. So, poor job by the salesman, but overall good experience because, you know, they solved their problems when, you know, something went wrong. So, shout out to the dealer. First things first, bought it for $79,000. Car's got 19,700 miles on it now. I think I put about 300 or 400 miles on it, maybe 500 miles on it in a month or so of owning it. You know, I've enjoyed the car. This was a car that I always wanted. It was a little bucket list car, wanted to experience it. But I am sending it off to West Coast Exotics tomorrow. That's my dealer. We are... Man, that LS9 has such a unique sound. Like, listen to it bounce off this little wall. Like LS9 has such a unique sound. It's so funny. But anyways, the one thing about this car is, like I was saying, I bought it for $79,000, 19K miles from the original owner. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of these are going for $85,000, $90,000. So this is a very good example. So I'm thinking to list this for $84,995 at West Coast, shipping it off to them tomorrow, and gonna see what kind of bites we get on it, right? And just see. I enjoyed the car for a little over a month and a half, actually, now that I think about it. So yeah, I look forward to, you know, enjoying this, making this video. I love buying cars, making videos, messing around with them, and yeah, like right now we're, oh my gosh, like the way it feels around this corner. It feels like an AMG GT, which is crazy. I don't want it. This car's second gear goes to 95. It doesn't even really make sense on paper when you think about it. We'll do a quick first to second and a little bit of third gear, just nothing crazy. A little bit of traction light came on there. This is a car you got to keep the traction on because you don't know what you're going to get yourself into with this thing when traction is off. But anyways, if you're thinking about buying a C6 ZR1, buy this one if you want. But this one is the cleanest interior I've ever seen on a car that's a 2011. The interior on this thing is cleaner than my 11 GT3 RS that I had. Any car that I've had, almost, aside from a couple of my newer GT3 RSs, or GT3 RS that I had, my 16 or my 16 GT3, this car's interior is next to damn near brand new, honestly. So whoever had this car before really took good care of it. It came from Palm Beach, Florida. It lived its whole life there. Yeah, and it's been a great experience. If you want to own a ZR1, the original MSRP of this car was $124,000. That is ridiculous. In 2011, when you factor in some inflation, you're looking at it in today's world, like, what is that? Like, it's got to be over about $200,000. I feel like in today's world, from 2011 and now, the dollar has literally, you know, inflated so much in terms of, you don't get $200,000 cars now. Camrys are coming fully loaded at $100,000 at these days, at this point. But anyways, wanted to make a quick video, just how I feel about the car. First kind of impressions since owning it for a bit. The torque is ridiculous. Full carbon full carbon. The hood is carbon, the bumper's carbon, the trunk lid, the rear bumper. This car's weighing in, like I said earlier, 3,400-ish pounds wet, curb weight, sitting, ready to go, ready to drive. So just to factor in some things, GT3s are weighing in around the same weight as this thing, with less power. So I'm comparing Porsche because those are the cars that I've owned recently, a lot of them. So when I compare it to that car, you know, obviously one of the best sports cars ever made, that's a huge compliment for this car to be comparing it in that way, from a gearbox feel and also a steering input and lightness feel, which is crazy because at the end of the day, right now, we're talking about a Chevy Corvette that's a 2011. So big testament to Chevy, big testament to the ZR1, big testament to the crew, which they called it Project Blue Devil when it came out. If you remember the ZR1, I remember being a younger kid, 16, 17, and it came out and they had the fighter jet next to it taking off on the runway on the airport strip. So it was a bucket list car to own, to experience, to check out. Definitely ahead of its time. It's hard to believe this came out in 2011 for what it is, the power, the engineering, and all around. So yeah, if you want to buy it, you know where it's going to be for sale at. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Got some new cars coming hopefully soon. Some new videos coming soon. I got some other cars that I bought. I bought an electric car. Yeah, believe it or not, I bought an electric car. So I'll probably make a video of that. It's interesting. It's different. It's not a Tesla. It's very different. But anyways, thanks for watching. See y'all.